gotta focus on yourself, on your faith, on your dreams, on your mind, on your health, yeah. You gotta work, never tell, keep your head down, find what you love and excel, yeah. Push and pull.
Alright, this is the brand new Sony Xperia 1 Mark VIII. And wait before you rush to the comments section, because I know exactly what many of you are thinking right now. Why does it look so different? Honestly, that was my reaction too the very first time I saw it. So when I got my hands on the phone, I immediately asked Sony what pushed them to redesign it. Was it simply for a fresh look, or was there a bigger reason behind these changes? In this video, we're going to break down why Sony changed the design, whether the upgraded telephoto camera is truly a major step forward, and how the new AI photography experience performs. There are 7 important things you need to know about the Sony Xperia 1 Mark VIII. So let's jump right in.
A quick shout out to my tech partner from China for sharing this video. A big thank you for making this possible. Hey everyone, it's Maiky from techmaiky. If you love staying updated with the latest gadgets, make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you never miss out our exciting tech content.
First up, let's talk about the design. Sony smartphones have always followed a very consistent style, especially when it comes to the camera layout. The long vertical camera module has been part of Xperia's identity for years, giving the phones a clean and minimalist appearance. Since Sony rarely changed the overall design from one generation to the next, many people felt that Sony had already decided this is our perfect design philosophy. But this year, Sony surprised everyone with a major redesign. The biggest change is the new square-shaped camera module. On top of that, Sony also introduced fresh color options and different material textures. After speaking with Sony, I realized that even though the Xperia 1 Mark VIII looks very different, the thinking behind the redesign still feels very Sony. When I first saw the square camera setup, I was honestly caught off guard. Naturally, I asked Sony why they moved away from the old design and why the camera module wasn't positioned at the very top anymore. Sony explained that the redesign mainly happened because of the upgraded camera hardware. The telephoto sensor is now 4 times larger than before. To fit this more advanced hardware while still keeping the phone slim and balanced, they had to rethink the internal layout and overall body structure. There's also another practical benefit. Since the ultra-wide camera now sits at the top, it's less likely that your fingers accidentally enter the frame when you're shooting horizontally. So while the new layout may take a little time to get used to, the overall body design, texture, and details still carry that unmistakable Sony character. And honestly, the camera performance looks very promising so far. I'll show you real-world footage later in the video, so definitely stay tuned for that. Now, besides the camera redesign, Sony experimented with completely new colors, and that's the second thing I want to talk about. This year, the Xperia 1 Mark VIII comes in 4 colors: black, red, silver, and gold. Yes, Sony actually released silver and gold versions this time. Even more interesting, every color has a unique mineral-inspired texture across the body. The finish has a slightly uneven matte texture that almost feels like natural stone. It not only improves grip, but also makes the phone feel less slippery in the hand. Sony's idea here is that the Xperia should feel like a mineral that gradually develops its own unique character through daily use and personal wear. So how do these colors actually look in real life? Well, the black and red are exactly what you'd expect from Sony, classic and understated. But the silver and gold are definitely more surprising. The silver version has a soft sky blue tone to it, so instead of looking plain silver, it feels fresher and more youthful. Then there's the gold model, which is honestly quite bold. Thanks to the matte textured finish, it avoids looking flashy or cheap, but it's definitely a color that requires confidence to pull off. As for the black and red models, they feel much safer and more traditional. Personally, I think the black looks incredibly clean and timeless. The red, however, is very different from Sony's brighter reds from the past. This time, it's a deeper, darker red with a more mature feel. Out of all 4 colors, the red is actually my favorite, and I have a feeling most longtime Sony fans will probably choose either the red or black versions. So now I want to know your opinion. Which color would you pick? Moving on, the 4th thing we need to discuss is whether Sony still feels like Sony. Even though there are major changes this year in terms of appearance and color design, I know many Xperia fans are wondering if the classic Sony identity is still there. After spending more time with the phone, I can confidently say that most of the things people love about Sony phones are still intact. There were rumors suggesting Sony might switch to a punch-hole display, but thankfully they didn't. The Xperia 1 Mark VIII still keeps the top and bottom bezels. And I'll give you a small spoiler right now. The speakers are massively improved this year. Later in the video, I'll let you hear a direct comparison, and honestly, the difference is huge. Sony also kept the beloved headphone jack, the physical camera shutter button, and the side-mounted fingerprint scanner. Micro SD card support is still here too, which is becoming increasingly rare nowadays. Now, there's both good news and bad news regarding the SIM setup. The good news is that the Xperia 1 Mark VIII finally supports eSIM. The bad news is that Sony has removed the old dual physical SIM flexibility. Now you can only use one physical SIM, one micro SD card, and one eSIM. But honestly, if you were already using a micro SD card before, then you were limited to one physical SIM. With the addition of eSIM support, the new setup actually feels pretty reasonable. And considering how expensive phone storage is becoming these days, keeping expandable micro SD support is still a huge advantage. By the way, I'm curious, do you still use micro SD cards? Let me know in the comments below. Now that we've covered the design and Sony's core philosophy, let's move on to the fourth point, the telephoto upgrade. This is probably the biggest hardware upgrade this year because the telephoto sensor is now dramatically larger. Sony increased it from 1/3.5 inch to 1/1.56 inches, which is an enormous jump, literally 4 times larger. So naturally, I had to compare it directly against the Xperia 1 Mark VII. Starting with the 140mm shots, even before zooming in, the improvement is obvious. The images from the Xperia 1 Mark VIII look noticeably sharper overall. Once you zoom into the details, the advantage of the new telephoto sensor becomes even clearer. Next, I tested the 70mm shots. Again, the Xperia 1 Mark VIII captured significantly richer details and sharper textures. The telephoto improvement this year is genuinely impressive. That said, I have to be fair. Both phones still produce very strong telephoto results. However, since the Xperia 1 Mark VIII no longer includes the continuous optical range from 3.5 to 7.1x's, I was slightly concerned that image quality between 70 and 140mm might suffer. So I also tested 85mm shots, and honestly, the results surprised me. Even at that focal length, the Xperia 1 Mark VIII still delivered noticeably better detail and clarity. Once again, it proves one simple truth. When it comes to cameras, a larger sensor really does make a difference.
On top of that, Sony has massively upgraded the telephoto camera this year. Not only is the sensor now 4 times larger, but the telephoto lens has also jumped to a full 48 megapixels. Because of this upgrade, the auto view feature can now make use of the telephoto camera as well. And honestly, I think this is going to be incredibly useful for recording family moments, concerts, or stage performances. Imagine being able to capture a wide 4K landscape video while also recording a vertical 1080p clip at the same time, almost like your own fan cam setup. You basically get both long-form and short-form footage simultaneously, which feels super convenient. But the improvements don't stop with the hardware. Sony has also introduced a brand new image processing system that uses raw cropping technology combined with updated HDA processing and improved noise reduction. The result is cleaner contrast, sharper detail, and much clearer textures, especially in scenes with bright lights, neon signs, or complicated lighting conditions. And of course, since this is 2026, we have to talk about AI. That brings me to the fifth thing I want to cover, Sony's new AI features. But unlike many other brands, Sony is approaching AI in a very different way. Instead of using AI to completely alter your photos after they're taken, Sony still wants to preserve the authenticity of your photography experience. So this time, they introduced something called the AI Photography Assistant. The idea behind it is actually pretty interesting. Rather than changing your images afterward, the AI helps guide you before you take the shot, so you can create photos that better match your own photography style. While shooting, the AI analyzes the lighting and environment in real time, and then recommends 4 different style options. These aren't just basic filters either. If you pay attention, the phone is adjusting brightness, white balance, tint, contrast, saturation, and other details dynamically depending on the scene around you.
And if you find a look you really like, you can save it using the option in the top right corner. Over time, you'll build your own custom collection of photography styles that you can quickly access later. What makes this even more interesting is that these AI-recommended styles are actually based on the creative look profiles from Sony Alpha professional cameras, but optimized for the current scene you're shooting. So every suggestion not only fits the environment, but also carries Sony's signature color science and photography style. It becomes surprisingly easy to discover a look you genuinely enjoy. Then, once you choose a style, you'll notice something cool. The focal length indicator suddenly lights up and becomes highlighted. That's because the AI photography assistant is also suggesting the best focal length for your composition. Based on the scene, it analyzes what framing might look better and guides you toward that focal length for shooting. One small tip though, these focal length suggestions usually only appear after you've selected a style first, so it's definitely worth choosing one before you start shooting. Overall, Sony's approach to AI feels very different from most smartphone brands. Many phones use AI mainly to heavily process or alter photos after they've already been taken. Sony instead uses AI as a creative assistant before the shot, helping you capture realistic images while still maintaining your own photography style. And what's even more impressive is that the AI actually learns your preferences over time. After using it for a while, it begins understanding the kinds of colors, tones, and compositions you like, and then it starts recommending styles based on your habits and personal taste. Sony is also using local edge AI this time, meaning the Xperia intelligence-powered AI photography assistant works even without an internet connection. That's honestly pretty impressive. From my personal experience, using Sony's AI photography assistant has been genuinely fun. It really feels like having a small photography assistant with you while shooting. As it learns your style, it starts offering smarter recommendations for focal lengths, color tones, contrast, and even subtle adjustments like temperature and atmosphere. It makes photography easier and more enjoyable, especially in everyday situations where you just want quick suggestions while still keeping your photos natural and realistic. At the same time, it gives you more creative choices and makes mobile photography feel more advanced without becoming complicated. Speakers on the previous Xperia 1 Mark II, so I didn't expect Sony to improve them this much again, but this year's upgrade is seriously impressive. When you combine these upgraded speakers with the uninterrupted full-screen display, the absence of a punch-hole camera, and the AI-enhanced Bravia Core display technology that accurately reproduces color, contrast, brightness, and detail, the overall viewing experience becomes something very unique in the smartphone world. And I have to admit, this setup became perfect for my late-night me time. Whether I was watching videos before bed or even using the phone alone in the bathroom, the entire experience just felt much more immersive and comfortable. Finally, the seventh and last thing I want to mention is the hardware specifications. As expected, this is a full flagship device powered by the latest Snapdragon 8 Elite Gen 5. Compared to last year, Sony has expanded the memory options, including a huge 16GB RAM and 1TB of storage. Considering how expensive storage has become lately, having this kind of option is honestly pretty impressive. So yeah, that's been my overall experience with the Sony Xperia 1 Mark VIII. The new appearance, updated colors, and redesigned camera layout clearly show Sony trying something fresh this year. I'm really curious to see how longtime Sony fans react to this new direction. Personally, I think the redesign still stays true to Sony's philosophy. It improves usability and performance while keeping that premium Sony aesthetic intact. Add in the AI photography assistant and the upgraded audio-visual experience, and I genuinely think this is a phone worth trying out. Anyway, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye, everyone.